our sanctuary and online with us this morning. We are Quimper Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in beautiful downtown, beautiful Port Townsend, Washington. Welcome all who seek renewal in a weary world. Welcome all who come with love and energy to share. Welcome to those who worry for the future. Welcome each one who is grateful for today. Know that in this place, you are not alone. In community, we share our strength with one another. And we keep the flame of love burning bright. Know that in this place, responsibility is shared. Here, tradition holds us. Ancestors shine a light from the past. Here, the young lift their bright faces and beckon us onward. Take my hand, and we can all go on together. My name is Mary Tucker, and I'm a member of the board here at QUUF. As we gather, I acknowledge that the water, land, and shorelines here in Port Townsend are the traditional territory of the Sklallam and Chimicum peoples. We honor and acknowledge our indigenous members and neighbors and vow to help restore and sustain these homelands. If you're visiting today, I offer a special welcome and invite you to join us for refreshments and conversation in the fellowship hall after the service, and we have a newcomers table near the patio doors where our greeters are ready to answer any questions you might have. So welcome to you all this morning. We're glad you're here. And now we have a couple of announcements. First, Joanne Heron will be talking about our stewardship.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. People have inundated the stewardship team with questions. How can I help the team? Isn't there something I can do? I'm happy to reassure everyone that there are many ways you can help. 1, please get the spectacular Brunch-a-Palooza on your calendar. It's April 6th, right after Sunday service. There will be feasting and frolicking with friends. We need volunteers to sign up for all kinds of tasks on the grand bulletin board by the office or contact Robin Steeman. Also, notice the gorgeous hearts our creative congregation have made. Thank you. Don't forget to pick up your pledge packet after the service today in the foyer. We'll mail the rest out on Monday, but it's obviously better if you can pick it up yourselves. Honestly, it has something for everyone. And I need a Kleenex.
Here
we go. Perfect.
Right there.
Powerful. The pledge packet has powerful, heartfelt messages from Reverend Linda and Bo, our Director of Family Services. It has a deluxe packet this year. It is a deluxe packet because it even has a UUA Shared Values wallet card. 3, help us with our goal to get all pledge cards turned in on or before the Brunch-a-Palooza on April 6th, so the board can use that information to plan its finances for next year's budget, and we can vote on it in June. And 4, check out tomorrow's Monday board report about stewardship. It's a gem. Let's love and support QUUF in a big way. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne, and our wonderful stewardship team. And also, there is another announcement. Dinner and discussion, previously known as AHA, will gather today in the fellowship hall at 4:30 for a potluck and a discussion. They're really good at discussions. It could be around a topic someone brings for the whole group, or each table can formulate its own discussion. Check the Friday email or see Julia for more information. Everyone is welcome. And if you aren't familiar, that's Julia Cochran. So now let us settle our minds and calm our hearts
Yes. Getting the staging right for later on in the service. You know it's a good start to the day when you want to dance during the prelude. Am I right? Thank you all for the music. Our opening words are by Linda Susan Ulrich. Come now, all who are broken and cracked. Come to the place where your shattered pieces are the raw materials of mosaic and I can never get this quite right, kintsugi, yes? Here you will find welcome among the armless dolls and the cozy pilled sweaters, loved exactly as they are. Come now, all who are thirsty and burned. Come to the place where cool waters and aloe soothe your bedraggled soul. Drink your fill and salve your skin. Then fill your canteen and return once more to the struggle, knowing the well will remain unobstructed. Come now, who long for the stars. Come to the place where the vision of infinity is written upon people's hearts. Hold it until you've memorized the way. Set your compass to point towards hope and begin your journey home. It is good to be together this morning. Will you join me in our chalice lighting words? It is a responsive chalice lighting, so your words will appear over here. Christina is incredibly clever. Your words will appear over here, and your words will appear over here, and I have words in between. Or actually, I don't. I started, and then y'all hop in. So, The spark of love resides in us all. We are free to act from it or not.
If we choose love, how will it improve our actions? If we choose love, how will love shape what we do? If we choose love, will you also choose love? If I choose love, will I find it when life is hard?
If we choose love, how will I treat those around me?
Love begets love, and it is love that lights our chalice.
Let us join in our opening song for today. It's number 6 in the Gray Hymnal if you want to follow along, and the words will be projected for us. I'm good. Dang it.
Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I make my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to life. Just as long as vision lasts, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream and in my dark, always that elusive spark. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to truth. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to love. Disappointment pierced me through, still I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did best, tell them I said yes to love.
Okay. Good morning. This morning we have the privilege of receiving 11 new members into our fellowship. They've each completed our new membership orientation process, and they're here today to join our congregation. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and our entire fellowship, I would like to welcome these incoming new members and express my hope that your experience here will be inspiring and transformative, both for you and for all of us. So that's it.
In this group of new members, we have some who have been with us for just a few months and others who have been here for years. Several are new to UU and some have been long-term members at other UU congregations. 5 are parents of children or youth from our religious education programs, and 2 are playing music for us today. We welcome all of you. Now, Elizabeth Walker from our membership and belonging team will introduce the new members to the congregation.
Incoming members, it's been a pleasure to get to know each of you over the past few months. Could all the new members stand when it's time and come over to me and join me at the pulpit? First, Jane Hogue, and her husband, Mike, recently moved here from Hillsboro, Oregon, to be closer to their 3 adult children and 3 granddaughters. Jane was active and involved in a UU church in Hillsboro and looks to QUF for community, inspiration, and service. Her hobbies include quilting, reading, and exploring her new state. You can move over there. Pat Killian and his wife, Scotty Scott, were members of the UU Fellowship at Stony Brook, New York for 15 years, where Pat served in many leadership capacities. They were then members at the Cedars UU on Bainbridge Island. Pat is an avid singer-songwriter and enjoys bringing UU-themed music to support worship services. Scotty Scott writes that she is a very spiritual person, not a religious one. Her faith is in nature. She has been an environmental and social activist all her life. She and Pat have 2 sons, 1 daughter-in-law, and 2 grandchildren. Carla Jean Pugh and her husband Ned sailed into PT 26 years ago after a 7-year sailing adventure, and last year they celebrated their 60th anniversary. She is a longtime knitter, a member of a community garden, and an avid reader. She is looking for a spiritual life with comradeship, along with caring friends who reach out to community needs. Ryan Hoffman moved to Port Townsend from Seattle 2.5 years ago with wife Jessica Logan and daughter Stella. He is a musician and music teacher, and their family regularly came to PT to participate in Centrum events. During that time, they discovered the welcoming and like-minded community at QUF, so it was natural to become involved with the congregation after the move. Jessica Logan was born in Lincoln, Nebraska, a reasonably long time ago now. Since that time, she has picked up a couple of foreign languages, earned a couple of university degrees, learned a couple of music instruments, and made a lot of memories. She has been haunting QUF without proper membership for about 3 years, so now she is making an honest woman of herself. Her family, Ryan and Stella, are also active in the QUF community. Nina McCormick has been attending QUF since childhood. After roaming around in her 20s, she returned with her husband Josh and their daughter CT. Drawn back by a desire for community and a spiritual foundation for herself and her family, she's now working to establish a youth and family advocacy group in Port Townsend. Nina also works remotely in tech sales, and she is the daughter of Julia Cochran.
She's the daughter of Julia Cochran.
Lola White is a 40-year-old mixed-race woman working hard at being a mother and getting back to great health and a more active life. She was drawn to QUF because of the shared values of love and inclusivity. Her fiancé, Chauncey, and she wanted to share a spiritual practice and community, as well as raise their children, Mackie, age 5, Brenly, age 4, and their newborn, Unica, in it. As their family settles from some of the chaos, she hopes to be an impactful part of the caring and love that has been so beautifully shared with them here. Chauncey Locklear grew up in Port Townsend and has a strong devotion to community. He and his fiancée Lola want to join a spiritual community that shares their values of love, sharing, social justice, and kindness. Chauncey is drawn to QUF because of years of being a guest at services and knowing many members who have had a positive influence on his life. He wishes to be a part of a group of people doing good work and providing kids the opportunity to learn and grow in a setting that practices what it preaches. We are also glad to have Kelly Wallace and Patricia Lopker W. Arkenton join us in membership. Their bios are part of the handout available this morning and on the welcome table in the coming week. Welcome to all of you.
We are so delighted. In the United Kingdom, they would say, we are so chuffed, right? Are we chuffed? Yes. to welcome you here at QUUF. As you know, our congregation is based not on a common creed, but on a common covenant, a way of being with each other in loving, supportive, and cooperative community. As such, we will do our best to be a source of strength and compassion and growth for you, and ask that you too become a source of strength and compassion and growth for all of us here. For it is in the lifting up of each other and working collectively that we make our congregation vibrant and life-changing. By your act of signing our membership book, you have indicated you wish to be members of this fellowship, so I ask you now, do you affirm that you support the program and purpose of the fellowship and will work to uphold QUUF's mission, covenant, guiding principles, bylaws, and policies? If so, please say, I do. I do. Well done. Welcome into covenant and membership with the Quimper Fellowship. And now, Quimper community, stand in body or spirit and join me in this pledge to these newest members. We, the congregation of Quimper Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, gladly receive you into our community. Let us join together in working towards a deeper understanding of one another and upholding our covenant to love and to share and to serve. Thank you, everyone. The congregation may be seated. After the service, we invite all of our new members, all y'all, to form a receiving line in the foyer so people can greet you. I know that's harder for you introverts, but it's a good thing for us. We've given each new member a red ribbon to add to their name badge to wear for a few months so that we can continue to welcome and recognize them. So that's part of your job. Just a reminder to continue to welcome them. And we have homemade cookies at coffee hour as a welcome, but we're not going to bring them out until the receiving line has ended. All right? Y'all get a first shot. Thank you all, new members. You may be seated. Oh, we didn't. We were supposed to get a chance to hug and shake your hands, and I forgot. So we'll catch y'all after the service, just like everybody else will. I would invite those who are along the aisle to rise in body and form an arch, and we'll sing our kids out to their RE classes.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
What a wonderful start to the day. My name is Robin Steeman, and I'm the chair of the Stewardship Committee. Now, when people hear that I'm a member of the Port Townsend women's basketball team that won the gold medal 3 years in a row at the senior games, they might assume that that's the highlight of my life. But truthfully, this was 2018. But truthfully, a much bigger highlight is being your stewardship chair for the last 2 years. It's an honor, and I'm being serious. It's an honor to be, I even wrote, I'm being serious. I'm being serious. It's an honor to be trusted with this important task and to work with the fabulous team. I'm a humanist. I find it fascinating and meaningful. To inspire you, I should talk about meeting the moment. But last weekend, Reverend Linda spoke to us about people who bravely stepped up and met the moment, and they courageously lived their lives. At one point in unison, we replied to Linda's statements I just couldn't stand by when she named injustices. So Linda's covered the Hart work beautifully last week. I can't top that. A good stewardship message would remind you of why you support QUUF. The calendar for March has 120 activities listed on it. And those are just the ones that happen here. Those aren't the covenant groups and everything that happens other places. A good stewardship message also includes information. Now that I can do. First of all, the reality is for us to meet this moment and do the life-changing work we do, we need to fund it. There's just no getting around that. 80% of our budget is funded through pledges. And as our offering words say, this fellowship is a community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and our resources. Last year, the stewardship team reintroduced the UUA Suggested Fair Share Contribution Guide, and we learned that congregations with vibrant stewardship are clear about what's needed. If you just ask people to be generous, how will they know what to give? You'll just befuddle them, as one of the books says. The Fair Share Guide addresses that. We also learned the guide is a way for a congregation to explicitly embody justice. It's an economic justice tool. And before I say one more word about any of this, it's important for me to make it extremely abundantly clear with this disclaimer. Nothing about QUUF stewardship is about pressuring someone to give more than what makes sense for them. The Fair Share Guide is the exact opposite. It's progressive. That means the suggested amounts rise with capacity. It's a suggested guide. It's private. It factors in personal situations, all in 3 easy steps, and there'll be one in your packet for you to consider if you'd like. Please check it out. Now, some congregations say, oh, everybody just give 3 to 5%. Well, that's not fair. Not everyone can do that. And books often recommend that you lean heavily on the big donors and you rely on them. Well, that doesn't sound fair. And it doesn't sound like it would make a good long-term strategy. It can lead to an unhealthy pledge distribution. What's an unhealthy pledge distribution? I'm glad you asked. The UUA has a quartile chart that shows what a healthy distribution looks like. Those are the blue bars. A healthy distribution provides stability. Our pledges are the pledges in orange. Larry Morrell made this up using the UUA guidelines for the healthy distribution. We came up short in 3 of the quartiles, and we have lots of pledges in 1 quartile. We have an opportunity to create more stability if we get closer to the recommended distribution. Is there a special urgency to funding QUUF this year? Yes. QUUF provides vital service and support to our fellowship community and our neighbors. These are uncertain times and needs will only grow. We do important work, and now is the time for us to step up and do more, not less. At the March 1st stewardship coffees, 34 surveys were completed. One of the statements on the survey was, there is a special urgency to funding QUUF this year. 31 said true. 1 said false. Another statement was, this is a year some people might reevaluate their pledge and give more because needs will be greater. 27 said true, 1 said false, and 2 said unlikely. I plan to reevaluate my pledge and give more. 10 people checked this. Next year, unless we cut some programming and restructure staff, we'll need $505,000 in pledges to cover our expenses. This is a steep climb. Liesl used that expression, and I grabbed onto it. That's a steep climb. One way to look at it is with our average pledge. If we can bring our average pledge up to the UUA average for congregations our size, we will have enough to fund the budget. Last year, 66 households made a fair share pledge, and 14 said they were moving toward one. If more households made fair share pledges, our pledge average would surely rise, and we will also raise our average pledge if some households give more than their fair share for those who can't. That's just economic justice. And does your contribution really matter? Yes. Our annual budget shows what our members prioritize. This includes our responsibilities to our hardworking and talented staff, whose compensation is a matter of economic justice. Your financial commitment directly affects our ability to pay our bills and live out our mission and values. The world needs us to live our love out loud. As we developed our campaign this year, I kept saying to the team, I want us to be bold. I want us to be brave. I was so taken with Bo's bold, brave words at the State of the Fellowship, and then I heard the youth speak, and I was stunned by their words and their bravery and their willingness to step up here and just say it. Talk about living love out loud. After the service, some of us stood back here and talked about how we couldn't do what the youth did when we were their age. I said, I can't do it now. And then someone said, but we didn't have a bow. And we all stopped. And we just kind of froze, and we thought about it, and it was so true. We didn't have a bow. Because of QUF, these youth do. QUF is transformative, priceless, and I'm glad you joined me in supporting it. Thank you.
Next, we pause for a time of generosity. Very good segue. And to receive an offering to support the life and ministry of QUF. Please join me in our offering words. This fellowship is the community of ourselves. The energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm our lives within it.
All right, so here's the thing. The postlude, you should dance. Just noting, I'm assuming y'all are all right with that. Yeah. We set aside time each week to share the joys and sorrows of our lives. We recognize that our personal joys and sorrows are only a small fragment of the joys and sorrows of the larger community of life. And so we're placing our first stone today, recalling that 5 years ago, we began the shutdown in response to the COVID pandemic and the spread that was happening. I invite us just to pause for a brief moment to think of those who died during that and those who have suffered from infections and those whose lives were changed. We light a chalice now for Kate Simpson, who had a successful spinal surgery, her second spinal surgery last Monday. She'd been in rehab recovering from her February 6th surgery. Kate, we send you our strength and love for your continued healing, and we look forward to your return home. The Native Connections Action Group asks for a candle of sorrow for Jim Harvey, who has joined the ancestors. A candle because Jim always brightened a gathering with his exuberant warmth, bear hugs, and kindness. He provided invaluable assistance to the Chemicum people with his expert research on tribal history and family lineages. And finally, Henry Amick asks for a candle of strength and courage for his friend Don Tarbutton, who has entered hospice this week. And then a final stone. Holding in our hearts these joys and sorrows, and also holding in our hearts those joys and sorrows that are unspoken, but of no less importance. Thank you. I invite you into a time of quiet and contemplation, a time for prayer or meditation. If you like, you can settle your feet on the floor and roll your shoulders back, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. However, it helps you to settle in. I'll offer these words by poet Rosemary Watola Tromer, and then we'll have a time of stillness together. I want a word that means okay and not okay. More than that, a word that means devastated and stunned with joy. I want a word that says, I feel it all at once. The heart is not like a songbird singing only one note at a time, more like a Tuvan throat singer, able to sing both a drone and simultaneously 2 or 3 harmonics high above it. A sound, the Tuvans say, that gives the impression of a wind swirling among rocks. The heart understands swirl, how the churning of opposite feelings weaves through us like an insistent breeze, leads us wordlessly deeper into ourselves, blesses us with paradox, so we might walk more openly into this world so rife with devastation, this world so ripe with joy. Let us pause in stillness together. So may it be. Amen.
This is a reading, The Serviceberry, Abundance and Reciprocity in the Natural World by Robin Wall Kimmerer. Robin Wall Kimmerer is a member of the Potawatomi Nation and a botanist. In this passage, she is describing the second phase of recovery after a disaster has come to a forest. It could be fires, landslides, windstorms, floods, insects, disease, or disasters of human origin. After the fast-growing, or as she names them, colonist plants come, in the longer term, settlers' plants begin to grow. The ones who come next are different, growing more slowly. In a resource-limited world, stressful conditions incentivize nurturing relations of cooperation alongside competition. The extractive practices of the colonist plants must be replaced with reciprocity and replenishment if anyone is to survive. Investing in persistence, the new inhabitants are in it for the long haul. These communities have been called mature and sustainable, in contrast to the adolescent behavior of their predecessors. This transition from exploitation to reciprocity, from the individual good to the common good, has been seen as a parallel to the transition that colonizing human societies must undergo, from hoarding to circulation, from independent to interdependent, from wounding to healing, if we are to thrive in the future.
Our second reading is from Billy Collins, his poem, Aimless Love. This morning, as I walked along the lakeshore, I fell in love with a wren, and later in the day with a mouse that the cat had dropped under the dining table. In the shadows of an autumn evening, I fell for a seamstress, still at her machine in the tailor's window, and later for a bowl of broth, steam rising like smoke from a naval battle. This is the best kind of love, I thought, without recompense, without gifts or unkind words, without suspicion or silence on the telephone. The love of the chestnut, the jazz cap, and one hand on the wheel. No lust, no slam of the door. The love of the miniature orange tree, the clean white shirt, the hot evening shower, the highway that cuts across Florida. No waiting, no huffiness or rancor, just a twinge every now and then. For the wren who had built the nest on a low branch overhanging the water, and for the dead mouse still in its light brown suit. But my heart is always propped up in a field on its tripod, ready for the next arrow. After I carried the mouse by the tail to a pile of leaves in the woods, I found myself standing at the bathroom sink, gazing down affectionately at the soap, so patient and soluble, so at home in its pale green soap dish. I could feel myself falling again, as I felt it turning in my wet hands and caught the scent of lavender and stone. Here end our readings for today. I should probably tell you all that today's sermon was purchased by Robin, good old Robin, in our auction a while ago, and she asked me if I would preach on the service berry, and I said, yeah, sure, you betcha. That would be fun. And we're probably going to come into it sideways, as I usually do. Just a fair warning. So back in my wild, wild youth, anybody else out there have a wild, wild youth? Growing up in the 70s, yeah, it was wild. And in that time, I have to admit that I occasionally had the opportunity to ingest substances that, shall we say, shifted my perceptions a little bit. And while I would say that most of what happened when I was shifted was not especially cosmic, just more goofy and weird. Some of you may know about that, but who knows. Anyhow, I have held one moment from that time of when it seemed to me that I experienced really no separation from the whole of the universe. It was an astonishing time. It was me connected to everything. I still have a visual image of it, and it's a mandala where we're all connected. It was an intuition and a moment of clarity that convinced me that all of our individual selves were just part of a larger whole of life, and that there was never any real separation between us. In fact, we are so interwoven with one another, there is no way to untangle an individual out of the whole. In the long time since, it has come back to me occasionally, but that sense of interconnection and relationship, it reminds me that I am not alone and that there is nothing that can separate me from everything that is. And I have to say, it's not the top of my head most of the time, which is a bit of a sadness, but it's the way things work. And I can even include in that when I come to die and continue, that it will continue to be the case that I am connected as my body breaks down into the earth. And though I don't anticipate there'll be anything resembling consciousness that goes on at that time, there is still a comfort in knowing that there is something of me, my atoms and electrons, the proteins and sinews, and the calcium that continues on into eternity, an eternity that is beyond my imagination. I find that it comforts me. Robin Wall Kimmerer, in her small book, The Serviceberry, takes us into that world of deep connection. Has anybody read it? Have a few? Oh, wow, awesome. Perfect. She explores the ecology and beauty of reciprocity that is present in the natural world, and in doing so, she invites us to reconsider our choices and decisions. Her prose is warm and rich, and her invitation is so gentle as to draw us deeply into her world. She invites us in. And this is what she says. She says, when I speak about reciprocity as a relationship, let me be clear. I don't mean a bilateral exchange in which an obligation is incurred and can be discharged with a reciprocal payment. I mean keeping the gift in motion in a way that is open and diffuse, so that the gift does not accumulate and stagnate, but keeps moving. It keeps moving like the gift of berries through an ecosystem. We ecologists, she say, think about the currency of ecosystems in terms of biochemistry, the cycling of life's materials between the living and the not. And our dominant culture that has shaped us is grounded deeply in that bilateral exchange of debt and payment, of individual ownership, and a certainty that we are all separate, and it is our job to watch out for number one, ourselves alone. And surely we are seeing the worst of that culture playing out in our national life these days. It is writ so large, it is hard to miss. And if that wasn't horrifying enough, we could almost say that it is a caricature of the belief that we are just here for ourselves alone, and it is a matter of who wins dominance and who gets all the prizes. Quimper tells us otherwise. She says, a gift economy nurtures the bonds that enhance mutual well-being. An economic unit is we rather than I. All flourishing is mutual. Don't forget, all flourishing is mutual. The persistent myth that we are alone in this, that myth that is deeply woven into our culture, that is thick around us and mostly invisible, does damage to us every day, I think. And it takes an act of will and consciousness to notice that it might not be true. That you all are here today means, at least to me, that you recognize that there is something different from Tennyson's declaration that nature is only red in tooth and claw, something other than the world built on, overall is built on competition and death. You're here because you think there's a better way. What if the world wasn't the survival of the fittest, but the survival of those who are most deeply related? The survival of those who honor the bonds that connect us all. Your presence, your choice to be part of this community, I'm looking at you, especially new members, tells me that you have a hunch or a guess or even a certainty that there is a goodness in community, that there is something to be gained that is not wholly tangible by being here and among us. Quimper reorients us to a different way of apprehending the world. She says, the prosperity of the community grows from the flow of relationships, not from the accumulation of goods. What I would say is that something that is gained is what is embedded in our new Article 2 for our wider denomination, that section of our bylaws that explains our purposes and principles of our faith. It is that love is at the center. Quimper says, if the sun is the source of flow in the economy of nature, what is the sun of a human gift economy, the source that constantly replenishes the flow of gifts? Maybe it's love. Love at the center of our galaxy. Love is what gives us life and sustains us. Love at the center of our community here. The culture around us day on day tells us that what matters is money and power. We are drenched in hierarchy, urged into competition, taught to separate ourselves from anyone and anything that might be named other. Yet here we are, friends. Here we are, and here we come to find something different, to learn and live out a trust in relationship and community, to be reminded again and again and again that there is something different and powerful to shape the world and our lives in it. We come here to keep learning what it means to be human in this time, what it means to love. We come to know the goodness of our shared life together and also recognize what we accomplish when we start with that word, when we start with the word together, when we start with the word we. And at our best, when we say together, we mean it in that universalist sense, that it is everyone, no exceptions, that our care extends to all living beings and the natural world. Community, congregational life at its very best is countercultural. Our dominant culture is powerful and noisy and wants us to believe that we are alone, that we are ever in a battle for life, and that those who die with the most toys win. Right? Here we seek to live out something different, a recognition that we are all as one, and intending to the health and the wholeness of everyone and everything, we can find true abundant life. And we forget that in a flash. So we need each other, always. We need each other to pull us back to that truth and that reality. We are all in this together, and that's everybody. And it is to us to nurture the whole. These principles, learned from the tiny service berries, are what we need to remember and guide us on our way. These are Kimmerer's words. She says, "Know the ways of the ones who take care of you, so that you can take care of them. Introduce yourself. Be accountable to the one who comes asking for a life. Ask permission before taking. Abide by the answer. Never take the first one, never take the last. Take only what you need. Take only that which is given. Never take more than half. Leave some for others. Harvest in a way that minimizes harm. Use it respectfully. Never waste what you have taken. Share. Give thanks for what has been given. Give a gift in reciprocity for what you have taken. Sustain the ones who sustain you, and the earth will last forever." Let us make it so, my friends. Let us make it so. Amen. Our closing song is number 128 in the Teal book. If you want to follow along, the words will be projected. "The Fire of Commitment." Let us rise in body or spirit and sing together.
From the light of days remembered, birds a beacon bright and clear, lighting hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, justice, built by a courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
Please be seated. Our closing words by Barbara Cheatham. And now we take our leave. Before we gather again, may each of us bring happiness into another's life. May we each be surprised by the gifts that surround us. May each of us be enlivened by constant curiosity, and may we remain together in spirit until the hour that we meet again. So may it be. Amen and blessed be. Let's join in our chalice extinguishing words, please. We extinguish our flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment, or the power of transformation. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.